So you happen to wake up somewhere on the beach thinking, where the hell am I? Well, don't worry, friend, because today I will be helping you to get you on your way to become a successfully geared player in DayZ. As you see right now, you might be thinking, I'm totally lost and I have no idea where I'm at. You only see a couple houses down here. If you look over to your right shoulder, you can see a town upon the distance. Now, my friend, don't worry, you're actually in a pretty good spot to get yourself started. I will show you exactly where you are right now. Just like that, we're taking off. Alright, as you see, there's only less than a couple houses down here. You generally would like to move into the hills. Now, this maybe sounds a little bit scary to you if you've seen the movie The Hills Have Eyes, but don't worry, you're actually going to find yourself some very good gear. So, as you see right here, we're at the coast right now. My character is downtown and you want to move up to the road to the right. So I'll just guide you through this. You see the barn right here? Yes. You would like to take up the road to the left here, leading up into the hills. Follow the road up there, and I'll see you at the next anchor point. As you see, our missus is just on her way to get that loot. Exactly. We're moving up in the hills, and I'll guide you through it. So, initially, you can't actually follow the road, but to save you just like a minute, or 2 minutes even, I'll just suggest you just cut up through the forest right here. There we go. And perhaps you can already see it, but there's a little town up in this hill right here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a town called Tulga, and this is actually a town where a lot of people don't really tend to go quite often, simply because a lot of people think it's not really worth the go to. With that mindset, you should actually move up here, since there could be plenty of loot still for you to pick up. There we go, she's just arriving in Tulga. Now, if you get yourself lucky here, then you can probably find yourself a little backpack, even a shotgun with some ammunition, or just some basic food supplies. Now, if you're as lucky as Mrs. Freshbone right here, you already got yourself a little bit some gear. She got a shotgun right here, a backpack, and just a fresh bean on her head, on her way to go up to the next adventure. Once you've checked the houses down there, you would like to follow up the dirt path leading up into the hills here. As you can see, the dirt path is quite long. You actually want to follow it all the way down to the next anchor point. Don't get off the road, just actually keep following the dirt path till you move all the way over here. Now, if you've never really visited a castle in DayZ, I would suggest you actually move over there in the hills. But Mrs. Freshbone here is actually looking for gear, so I would suggest you move over and follow the dirt path on the right side, leading up to the next town we're going to visit, Mista. Follow the dirt path all the way down until you can see the glimpse of the village and actually go and check it. Now, Mista right here has actually a couple houses and are quite useful to check, since you probably are either thirsty or hungry if you haven't found any food in Tulga. So if you haven't found anything yourself yet, I suggest check some of the houses down here, and perhaps you could even find some ammunition for your gun. Now, once you've checked Mista and you've got the supplies you wanted, we want to continue deeper into the mainland. So, as an indicator, that red barn roof right there is definitely not the location you want to head in. As you see, our little freaking Freshbone right there is on the T-junction, moving up to the next and first stop of a military location. As an indicator, you want to move up to the location where you can see this little caravan and follow up the dirt road leading up to the first military camp. Now, the dirt path is actually quite long, going through the woods, and is actually a lot safer than the other route you can move to as well. But that one is actually leading up to Steroy, and I will tell you shortly why you actually don't want to move down there. Now, if you follow the dirt path, you might come to this little watchtower. This is a deer stand. If you haven't checked it before, you can actually find some very good supplies, just like binoculars, hunting gear, and even a canteen. Now, to keep in mind before you run down to the military camp is that this area is actually quite densely packed with people. This is a common place where people tend to go to, and as you can see, there's a lot of trees around here, there's a lot of hills, and it's a perfect spot for campers to camp around. Now this right here is the military camp I was talking about. It has a couple of tents, it has a little bunker, and perhaps you could find yourself even a gun right here. Most chances, I don't want to break your dreams, but the chances you can find yourself some crazy loot right here are pretty slim to none, since this is a quite a common area where people tend to go to. Now, as you see this town right here up in the distance, that is the town called Staroy, but I suggest you just skip that town in general. Now, once you've checked the military camp, you want to move over to the main road right here, past that little broken down tank right there, and move over to the main road up in the hill right here. Then move all the way over to this little barn right here. Now, once you've moved over to this barn right here, I suggest you take the dirt path instead of the main road because it's a lot safer. Now, you would like to move all the way down the dirt path to the next anchor point, which is going to be the ruins. As you can see right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These houses right here don't have any loot at all, they're just ruins. Now what you'd like to do now is keep continuing with the dirt path until you move over to the summer camp. Now once you arrive at this little crossing road right here, you want to move over into the direction where this green building is right here. Continue with the dirt path until you arrive at the summer camp. Now the summer camp is actually a great area to find yourself some Mosin ammo and perhaps a hunting backpack. As well right here, there's a little well where you can get yourself hydrated. And don't forget to get yourself some medical supplies up at this little medical supply building right here. Now once you've checked the summer camp right here and you actually head back to the main road right here, you want to move over to the right side and then immediately move over into the hills and follow the dirt path. Because the town right there you see, that is called Novi Sobor. It's a common place for bandits to move over to, and the loot right there is pretty much slim to none. You probably can find yourself some supplies there, but I suggest you just keep following the dirt path right here into the woods. Now, as you can see, there's a little T-junction right here. You could move over to the left, but I suggest to go over to the second military camp and continue the dirt path onto the right, moving over to Stary Sobor. Now keep in mind this area is actually quite packed with a lot of people that move over here for PvPing, so I suggest you actually take your time before you make your decisions. Alright, so behind this red barn right here, there is the military camp I was talking about. Now, to keep in mind, like I said, a lot of people are moving over here for PvPing, so keep that in mind and be aware at all times. A common place for people to camp around are these hills where I'm directly moving at right now. Now, once you've checked the military camp, I advise you to actually keep on moving because, like I said before, this is a very common area for people to PvP around. So, I suggest if you haven't collected your water yet, there's a well downtown right here, but keep in mind, like I said, there are a lot of people here up to no good. So get your water and get going. So as the indicator, from the church on, you actually want to follow this road right here, passing the medical supply center, moving all the way over here, following the road. Now, keep in mind this is an open area and you don't have a lot of cover right here, but you want to move over here and follow the path right here. Now, what you'd like to do now is actually cross from the path and move over to the woods right here, all the way over to the woods over there. Now, what you do now is you just actually cross the fields here and you're actually moving over to the Vybor military compound. Keep in mind that this military complex is also a very known location for people to hang around with. Now, this is a military complex with a couple barracks right here, as you can see. It has a prison complex too, and this is actually a good spot to find yourself perhaps an AK. Now what you like to do now is actually move all the way over here and follow that dirt path, moving over up to the next town. If you follow the dirt path, you're actually moving up to the town called Pistashka. I would say check some of the buildings for medical supplies, maybe food, ammo, but what you want to do is actually move over to the next military stop. So, as an indicator, you want to cross the town until you arrive at this gas station right here. Now follow the road, and once you arrive at this T-junction right here, move all the way over to the right. You're actually moving over to the next town called Mosquito. Now Mosquito has also a military base called Mosquito Tents. This is the town of Mosquito right here, and I would say just get yourself some supplies here if you'd like to. Perhaps you can find some ammunition for your Mosin or shotgun. But what you like to do now, as an indicator, this greenhouse right here, you want to move over into the hills right here and keep on going the same direction. Once you've moved all the way over the hill, you start moving down. You can perhaps see the glimpse of the military camp already. Now this military camp right here is called Mosquito Tents. As you can see, it has a couple tents and a bunker, but is a lot bigger than the military camp we saw at Staroy. Keep in mind, this is a place where a lot of people tend to go as well. Now congratulations, you finally made it to the third military camp. Now what you can do now is you can follow up the dirt path and move over to Zelenogorsk right here. As you can see, just follow the dirt path, continuing up into the hills, right over here, until we get to the top of the mountain right here. Now as you can see right here, you can move in several directions, either through Sosnovka, right here to the left, to Green Mountain up in the distance right there in the middle, and to the 4th military base up to the right called Zelenogorsk. I hope this little video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next route. Take it easy.